It's like my third time recording this. Funny how when you're trying to make a tutorial to help people with computer problems, you start to have a plethora of them yourself. Hey guys, AMK here. So, your internet is disconnected, intermittent, or just plain acting funky. Or maybe it's perfectly fine for now, which is why you're doing the right thing by watching this video. Because when your internet does go out, you won't be able to watch this, unless you have cellular data. Okay, anyways, let's cut to the chase. Bad internet can stem from many things. I'm just going to list my troubleshooting list that I follow when my interwebs go down. I usually check for issues in this order. 1. I do a DNS check. 2. If that checks out, I'll make sure DHCP on my router isn't acting up. 3. I'll check for router configuration issues. 4. I'll check to make sure my network hasn't been compromised. 5. I'll change to a static IP different than my dynamic IP. 6. I'll reboot my router. 7. I'll reset my router. 8. I'll hard reset my router. 9. I'll bypass my router. And 10. I'll call my ISP if all else fails. So I'm going to walk you through my 10 steps one by one. So I can't access a web page. First thing I do is make sure my DNS settings are okay. DNS servers act like phone books on the internet when you type in, for example, google.com into your address bar. It matches your query with Google's IP and takes you to the web page. To see if you're resolving correctly, you need to open up command prompt by holding down the Windows button and hitting R. This little window is going to pop up in the corner. You need to type in CMD. Well, let me minimize Chrome in case you guys can't see this. You need to type in CMD into this box and hit enter. This is going to open up your command prompt window. In here you need to type in ping space, it's P-I-N-G, space google.com. If you get replies, that means your DNS is working fine. If you don't get replies, type in ping 74.125.224.243. If you don't get replies now, but you got replies, if you get replies now, but you didn't get replies in the last step, that means your DNS settings are whack. You need to contact your ISP or someone with computer expertise to help you out, or skip forward in the video to step 5 to see how to set Google DNS services, which will fix your problem. The next step is to make sure you have a valid IP from your router or whatever you're connected to. You need to open up command prompt in administrator mode this time if you're on Vista or Windows 7. If you're in XP, don't worry about administrator mode, just open up another command prompt. But make sure you're not on a limited account. So in 7 in XP, you need to, in 7 in Vista, you need to open up the start menu, type in CMD, right click on the little icon, and then click on Run as Administrator. This will open up an administrator command prompt. Now you need to type in IP config/release, R-E-L-E-A-S-E, hit enter. Wait for that to do everything it needs to do, then type in IP config/renew. This can take a little while, but after it's done working, it's doing its thing, you know. Check to see if your internet's fixed. This usually fixes all my problems, as long as just make sure you don't have a static IP enabled when you do this, so it can reset your IP from the router. So set everything to dynamic if you already set a static IP and you know what you're talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. And try doing this. This usually fixes my problems. If you're getting intermittent connections still, or if your internet's disconnected or whatever, now it's time to check your router to make sure everything is configured okay. This means you need to open up your router's configuration page. I do that, hold on, let me resize my window. I do that by typing in my router's default gateway, which is 192.168.0.1. For you, it could be the same thing, 192.168.1.1, 0.2.1, it could be anything. The last two, those are the most common. Okay, so you log in, usually the password's like admin or something, and then you want to make sure all your settings are okay, like, for example, your wireless settings. Or is everything set up correctly? Do you have the correct password settings and everything set up on your router? If you have stuff port forwarded, Make sure everything that's port forwarded, you actually know what that is. You don't have a bunch of random shit port forwarded that you don't need. Make sure that's not like that. Make sure you set up your QoS right. If you don't know what QoS is and you didn't set it up or don't remember setting it up, try to look for the setting and turn it off if it's on. If you don't know what QoS is and you didn't set it up yourself, just keep it off for good measure. That's probably what's causing your problems. If you're getting intermittent connections during gameplay or movie streaming, try turning down, and you're on a wireless connection, try turning down the load on your wireless chip. You can do this by limiting the broadcast, for example, in your wireless settings from, let's say, if you only have G and N devices, don't enable A and B. Just enable N and G. If you only have G devices, then only enable G. If you only have N devices, only enable N. Only use what you need. Don't enable everything. You don't need everything. You don't need A, B, G, and N all together, because I highly doubt any of you have A and B devices. Those are from like ages ago, and they're hella slow anyways. If your devices are having problems connecting wirelessly, you can always try turning down your security settings from WPA2 to WPA1, and then down to WEP, and then down to no encryption. But please note, I'm warning you, if modern technology like a laptop that you bought in the last 5 years or like a smartphone or something cannot, it doesn't, if that device doesn't have internet when you're on WPA or WPA2, but it does work when you're on WEP or no encryption, then you could be a target of a downgrade attack. Someone's trying to get you to downgrade from WPA to WEP, some script kiddie, so they can hack you. This is when you need to consult a security specialist or someone who knows how to handle attacks. Or you can enable MAC filtering and fix your problems. If you're gaming or doing other high-load work and getting intermittent connections, try connecting directly to your router with a wire instead of a wireless connection. Wireless load causes heat, and overheated routers can go into fail-safe modes. Once again, you can try turning down your settings up here. You know, if you only use 20 megahertz, you don't need 40, you don't need big width, you don't need to transmit so much. If you have like a dual router, like 5 gigahertz and 2 gigahertz, and you're only using one, you know, turn off the stuff that you're not using, because this all generates heat. Which brings me to my next point. Heat puts your router into like a fail-safe mode. So if your router is hot, then you should probably move your router to a well-ventilated area so it can cool down and keep it there. Alright, now we're up to step 4 and we're 7 minutes in. I gotta go faster. Go to your status page on your router and browse around to make sure to try to find like a section that tells you your connected computers. Mine is right here. Try to find like a connected clients list or something. So take a look at the list and make sure you recognize all of the devices connected, or count the IPs and make sure you have that many devices in your house, like printers, phones, and stuff that could be connected. If there's too many devices, like, oh, I only have 2 wireless component like devices, but I have 10 things connected here. Or if you see a name that you don't recognize, then somebody's probably on your internet. Try changing your password, or I would suggest enabling MAC filtering to set up a whitelist so only your devices that you allow may join your network. This will keep ScriptKitty 12-year-old backtrack hacking neighbors off your internet. Alright, next step, we're going to go to control panel and we're going to set up a static IP with set DNS. So go to control panel, go to like network settings. If you're in XP, I don't remember the exact place, I haven't used XP in a while. If you're in Vista or 7, go to network and internet, network and sharing center, and then change adapter settings. In XP, you want to find like network adapters or something, you'll come to like a similar page. Next, you want to go to the network adapter that you're using to connect to your router. In my case, it's a wireless connection. If you're using a wired connection, you want to do that one. Right click on your connection and go to properties. Then you want to double click on IPv4, and your settings are going to look like this. I want you to click on use the following IP address. Now you need to know your default gateway. Once again, open up command prompt. You should already know how to do that by now. And then type in ipconfig. Look for your default gateway. If it's not there, then that means you probably haven't gotten an IP from your router. So you need to remember, try doing the IP config / release renew that I did, in like step 2. And if that doesn't work, try to remember your default gateway if you knew it before. So you need to type that in here. Mine was 192.168.0.1. It's the same thing you use to log into your router's configuration page. For your IP address, you need to have the same 3 numbers in the beginning. What the hell? You have the same 3 numbers in the beginning, 192.168.0, and then for the last one, you need to pick something random. I'm going to pick 111. Hit tab, that'll fill that one out for you. And now you need your internet service provider's DNS servers. If you know them or you can't, you can type them in. If you don't know them, you should look them up. If you can't look them up, then just use, or you don't want to use your ISP, maybe your ISP's DNS servers are whack. You need to use Google DNS. Google DNS is just 8.8.8.8, and for the second one it's 8.8.4.4. This will solve your problems. Click OK, and then yeah, whatever, click yes, and then click OK, and there you go. If this doesn't solve your problem, give it a few minutes, then try restarting your router. Remove the power cable, count to 15, then reconnect the power. Give it a few minutes to fire up and do its thing. And if it's still not fixed, you probably want to do a reset. You want to look it up for your own router. Usually, hold on. I had something prepared for this. Usually involves pushing the reset button in the back of your router for like 10 seconds, or just pushing it once, and it'll like restart or whatever. If that still doesn't help, you want to do a hard reset. This usually involves holding down the reset button for like 10 seconds, then disconnecting the power cable while holding down the reset button still, and then keep holding it for like 30 seconds, and then reconnect the power, and then finally let go of the reset button. This will usually reset your router to factory settings. It's different for every router, but that's usually the standard way to do it. And if it's still not fixed, you want to try to bypass your router by directly connecting your internet cable from your modem or your wall or whatever to a computer. If this fixes your problem, then your router is broken. If it doesn't help, now is when you call your ISP. Once again, if all else fails, call your ISP. Usually they're helpful. I have SureWest, and they have really nice 24-hour technical support that'll actually help me with anything, even if it's not like related to my internet directly. They'll still help you because they're sitting there and they got nothing to do. But if you got shitcast or something, then you're probably out of luck. But try calling them anyways for help. You never know. So thanks for watching, and if you watched all the way through, you're 10 steps stronger in terms of fighting computer retardedness. I'm AMK. Please thumbs up if you liked it, or thumbs down if you hate my face. Subscribe if you can, and check me out on Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Want a tutorial made? Make a comment. Thanks for watching, and see you all in 2 days.